Before we get started, I just want to have a chat to you about a Brabham film. Yes, there is a film out about mostly my granddad, but also the family, and it is now available on stand online, particularly in Australia, as of today, I believe. So a couple of days before you'll be watching this, but please check it out. I'll leave a link down below. Check out their Instagram. They've got a little preview of the film there. It's a really great insight into my granddad, Jack, but also a great insight into the family and some of the things that people probably don't see. And I have a little small part to play in it, which means a lot to me to be involved in something like that. Please check it out and let me know what you think of it once you've watched it. Tweet me, Instagram me, or put a comment in the comments after you've watched this video maybe. Yeah, let me know, check it out, and let's get into the episode. So Spa-Francorchamps coming up now in Belgium, such a beautiful circuit to drive, to coach at, to even just to go watch race cars around. It is stunning, and it's hopefully going to breed a good round for us. It's a track I really enjoy driving, as most people do. It's fast, it's undulating, it's quick, it's technical, it's such an amazing track, and hopefully with a few upgrades coming after this race, we can push for more points. We got a little bit lucky in Hungary, but hopefully we can keep that up and get more points on the board this time around. With the 3.5 million that we have in the bank, I'm also going to do a quality control upgrade for our aero department, decrease the rate of failures. That's going to be important. I still want to improve our aero package as much as possible. It's only 2 million, so we've still got a fair bit in the bank to spend afterwards and to save. So that's what we're going to go for, quality control upgrade on the aero. I've had quite a few questions from a few of you guys about how I go about the setup, and different circuits are obviously very challenging, which sometimes the setup can help a lot and sometimes the setup can't. And I've had a bit of a play around Spa already, and I wanted to show you this because it's quite important, and I've managed to gain nearly a second in lap time just from doing a few little things that I would do if I was racing here. So as we go into the setup here, press the wrong button. Aerodynamics, the wings were I think 5.6. I've just lowered them ever so slightly, try and get a bit more straight line speed. So sector 1 and sector 3 are two massive straights. There's a few kinks in them, but they're flat. And you want to be quicker through there and try and manage the car through the middle sector, because you're going to gain more time by being quicker in two sectors than in one sector. Transmission, I don't touch this. I know quite a lot of the esports guys play around with this a lot, but I don't understand it enough to really do anything about it. Then to the geometry. So I've lowered the camber. The camber is basically as you stand the tyres up, positive cam, negative camber, positive camber. So positive camber is that way, negative camber, negative heading towards, you've got like the center line 0 heading towards that way. Then you have the front toe, so that is essentially how far the wheels turn outwards or inwards. So I've minimized the toe so the wheels are as straight as possible, which means I'm going to be a lot quicker in a straight line. There's less drag on the tyre, on the surface, as I'm driving in a straight line. So through sector 1 and 3, that straightness of the tyres allows me to get more straight line speed. Then heading into the suspension, I stiffen the suspension a little bit, it just makes it a bit sharper, which is what I want through the middle sector. Doesn't affect the aero all that much. And then the ride height, I tend to lower the front quite a lot. 3 is where I normally have it. I think it was at 5.7 previously, whereas I've got it at 3.6. Just lower the car, but also keep a bit of what's called rake. As you've got a car's platform here, lower the front, raise the rear, gives more rake, and then that would be less rake. So I like to have a fair bit of rake in the car, much like a Red Bull you would have. If you look at their car, it's really pitched on the nose to try and get the front working properly, and that's what I've done there. And the brakes, I put my front brake bias at 50%. In real life, it would probably be lower than that. You want it as on the front as possible, gives you the maximum amount of grip, but not too much where you're locking fronts. But in the game, it seems like front brake bias at 50% helps quite a lot. So hopefully that helps you guys. Now, this is only for Spa, and I managed to gain quite a lot of time, particularly with a little bit of this suspension geometry of the camber and the toes helps massively. You can tell by I literally just gaining time in a straight line. And the help of the suspension and the ride heights allowed me to get a lot out of the car through the corners in that middle sector. So I've tried to balance it out, but hopefully that helps you. That's the way that I would look at it. Let me know if you want more of these videos. Now, I'm sure if I was trying to do an esports time, this setup would be way different, but I like to try and keep it as realistic as to what I know, approach it like a race that I would, because I've seen some setups from people in esports and the setup is nothing like you'd have it in real life. It's so unrealistic, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I want to keep this as realistic as possible, go through the motions as if I'm running the team doing it, having little tweaks, because I've seen some setups that are crazy, and I don't really want to do that. I want to keep this as realistic as possible. So this has helped me personally. Give it a go from the base setup to this setup if you want to, and let me know what you think. Straight into qualifying. Now you can see already I've made a mistake into turn 1. Just carried a bit too much speed on the entry and didn't get a great exit, which is not ideal, heading up towards Eau Rouge and Radillon, and then down the long straight heading up to Les Combes chicane. Decent run through Les Combes. It felt like a bit too much curb there, but if you get on both you can get away with it, and my line just messed it up. I was a bit shallow into the last one. Coming into the final bus stop chicane, bit too much curb there. I rolled a fair bit of speed in, and I felt like my exit wasn't the best. So coming over the line, a 1:43.2 puts us P17, Mick right behind us, but I knew I could get a lot more out of the lap, and I felt like the setup changes that we had before really helped the car. You can see, again, a lot more time through Les Combes, used a bit more on that middle curve, and then my line through here has gained us nearly 2/10 on the previous lap. Coming into Bruxelles now, you have to be really careful with your line here, not to go in too deep. It's downhill. Managed to get a good exit, again, gains a lot of time through No Name. Yep, the corner doesn't have a name, which is kind of strange. Through the last chicane through here, coming through left, a little bit of curb. I was gaining time a fair bit. I felt like this lap particularly was a lot better. Great exit out of there and gained again close to a 10th out of there. Ran a little bit wide, but that's okay. And then coming through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane, I tried to carry less speed. I was 3/10 up there, and I've slowed it right down, trying to get a better exit, and then ended up close to 3/10 up. So I didn't really lose much or gain anything really, but P17 in the end, and I felt like it was a decent result. Mick in P20 there, which was pretty good from him. I was a fair way ahead, but I felt like the setup changes that I made really benefited me, and hopefully we can have a good one in the race. Here we are for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Qualifying was okay, P17. I think we could have done better. The lap was pretty good. I managed to get a good setup, and we're half a second quicker than Mick, so I can't be too displeased with that. We're around the Haas's, which is where on the performance index says we are, so hopefully in the following Grand Prix with those major chassis and aero upgrades and the engine upgrades we've got coming, hopefully that will boost us just that bit into the midfield. But for the moment, this is where our car's at, and hopefully we normally do better in the races. So let's get into the strategy. It's going to be a very clear one stop today. I'll change the fuel. I always give myself about a lap extra of fuel just to make sure, because our fuel economy is not the best in the car at the moment. So hopefully we'll have a good one. Softs to mediums. Let's get into it. Here we are, start of the Grand Prix. Raikkonen just ahead. Verstappen is to our left after his grid penalties. Great launch off the line there, up the inside, up towards La Source. And Giovinazzi is thrown up the inside of quite a few there. Renault to our left. Try and hang it around the up the inside of into Radillon. He's just got away with that, but now it's huge slipstreams now into Les Combes. Try and get that stopped up the inside of Ocon and Kimi. A bit of oversteer, try and get it slowed down for the next right. Decent. Now into Bruxelles. It's very easy to run wide here. Can we sneak up the inside? Maybe. Now this corner here actually has no name officially. Great switch back on Lando Norris there. Up into the points now. We've had a great first lap. Through Pouin. Oh, I've got that horribly wrong. Just carried way too much speed. Maybe we can... Good move on Giovinazzi there. They're all cruising at the moment. We've had this first lap has been unbelievable, and looks like they've got damage. They're holding each other up. We've got signs up ahead now. It's 3 seconds away. Don't expect to catch him, but what a first lap that is. Yellow flags. But yeah, Giovinazzi had a problem. He's come into the pits. Fantastic first lap there. We have actually caught signs a little bit. Maybe he was battling with Albon, but we're well into the top 10. P9 at the moment. It's fantastic. And with a good gap behind to Norris. Difficulty now in this race is that we haven't got anyone to get DRS off, and the guys behind will surely catch up to us. The amount of long straights and DRS zones here, particularly heading from Radion and Eau Rouge up to Les Combes, the chicane. I find it quite amusing. They've got such amazing corner names here. And that little left down the hill in the middle doesn't have a name. You know, you've got La Source, Radion, Eau Rouge, such iconic names, and Pouon, all that sort of stuff. And then you've got just a corner with no name in the middle of it. I find it so amusing. Sainz is gapping us a bit, and Norris is closing in behind with the rest of them. So we are in the points at the moment, but it's going to be a tall order to keep them behind with no DRS at the minute. And when they come past, they're obviously quicker. Bus stop chicane now. See, they're very close and close. And a train behind though. So we can slot into that train and hopefully get a good pit stop and make something happen from there. If we can get points today, I'll be delighted. As you can see, they are starting to battle. So hopefully we can keep this gap over 1 second. Have to try and keep Kvyat out of DRS range if I can. And even at that sort of distance, he will get a slight tow. So I'm going to use my ERS to try and break away as much as I can, but it's not looking likely at the minute. Just managed to get out of the DRS. Only just, I think it was 1 second and 1 millisecond out, but that's helped us. And now Kvyat is coming under pressure from Ocon. Looks like they've had a bit of a to-do between the two of them. They're battling away, giving me a break. Now they're still side by side behind us. Quite a few drivers coming into the pits now. So a few have pitted. I think they're going to box this lap. They're coming in pretty early. So just come in a lap earlier, try and get a bit of an undercut. Not so much an undercut, but try and gap the guys behind. Kvyat has come into the pits, so it's Ocon then Norris. I just want to give them any DRS, and if I can pit to negate that, then it gives us a fighting chance of points today. Ran way too wide there. All my ERS. Try and just gap him as much as I can. Give me enough space. Try and hope that he doesn't get DRS maybe. But I'm going to come straight into the pits. There we go. Into the pits. Be interested to see who's coming in behind. Looks like Norris is coming in with us. Hopefully we can get out and get a good opening lap on the new mediums and try and pull ahead of people who are around us. We're going to be in a bit of a gap as well, which is good. Reasonable pit stop from the boys, 2.3 seconds. We're out well ahead of Kvyat, which is good. And use my ERS down this straight, try and catch up with Latifi, or Russell even. We'll get a bit of a tow through Blanchimont down the back straight, heading towards the bus stop chicane. from Russell, which will give us a bit of a boost, try and break away from the guys ahead. And way too early there. It's not going to help us out at all. Good exit out of here, really important. Get a good run down this straight. As you can see, we are closing in. Use my ERS. Now it's just about pulling up to the back of him. We should get DRS from him as well. And we will, which is great. As he came in the pits anyway. If you look at the gap to Ocon now, he's going to be fighting with Kvyat, and that's helped us out massively. He was within a second when we pitted, so that outlap and that pitting that extra lap earlier has really benefited us, because he would have come past, no doubt, on that other lap. So we've given ourselves almost a 2-second buffer. Now, as he is coming under pressure from Kvyat behind him, he's on the hards as well, so he shouldn't have as much pace as I do in this opening phase of this stint. Grosjean has come into the pits, which means now we are up to P9 where we were originally, with a 2.5 second gap to the guys behind. Hopefully we can maintain this gap. We've got to go to the end now just like them, but they've all pitted for the hards, so I wonder if we've got enough pace to get by and not enough tyre wear as a comparison to them, because if they have, I mean, they're on the hards, they shouldn't be much faster than I am. If I can maintain this pace for another 11 laps, then we'll be in a great position. If we come under pressure, start using up our tyres too much, then we'll be in trouble. We've got Sainz coming into the pits this lap round, which is strange. He must have got super long on the tyres he was using, so that's popped us up into P8 now. Made a couple of mistakes on this lap so far. They're not really catching. It seems like they keep using the DRS to catch up to each other, overtaking, kind of not overtaking and battling, which is allowing me to kind of keep my pace and the gap pretty consistent to them. It's kind of stayed around 3.5 seconds since we pitted. A little bit. Made a mistake there. That's going to lose me time. Just brush the cut. If you go on top of it, like the green bit, so bad, Sam. Come on. It's tragic. Look at the gaps now. Yeah, 3/10 off my best there. That's not good. Right behind me now. They're going to both have DRS. Good exit out of the source. Using the ERS now. Oh, I'll save it. It's hard to know, but luckily Verstappen's right behind. They could both come past me down this straight here. ERS is in 6/10. Haven't got enough ERS there. He's going to come streaming past. Will I go defensive? No, I don't need to just yet. Focus on getting a good run through the Lecombe chicane. They're going to come real close to me now. I'm okay almost to get the DRS from them if I can, rather than both stream past me, but bit of oversteer, that's not good. I managed to keep them at bay, but they'll come past me for sure after Radion. Get a stop and turn, get a good exit. Managed to get away with that. Just. Brake way too late. Hopefully they won't send that up the inside like Gasly does. Nah, a bit smarter than that. With 3 laps to go, I can feel my tyres starting to go off. They're close behind each other. Hopefully Max will have a bit of a crack at Ocon. Maybe it'll end like it did. Oh, I'm going to have to go inside into the bus stop. Nah, maybe not. Tyre wear is pretty bad. I'm going to use a bit of my ERS. Just tried to send that. Cover him off there. Stroll's getting in the mix. This battle behind us getting amazing. Rich Mix is on. Final lap of the race. Oh, as if. What is that all about? Look at these two. No way you sent... No way. As if. Look at the state of that driving. Picked up a bit of wing damage. Look at them all. This is crazy. I'm hoping now that they've held each other up a little bit. Stroll now in P9. Oh, I'm struggling for tyres massively. Hopefully we've done enough. Got to commit to the throttle. He's coming up the inside of me. Got that wrong. Yellow flag. Oh, Stroll's had a shunt. What's happened there? Let's have a little look real quick as we try and finish this race off. But I'm really interested to see what's happened. I got it wrong through Puon, and then we're coming into the next chicane. I've turned in. Oh, and he's had contact with Kvyat by the looks of it. Oh, he spun it. He's trying to go up the inside of Kvyat, and Stroll spun and let everyone else through. My God. Alright, let's focus now on finishing this race. Now we've got Kvyat behind. ERS is in. I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. I'll just defend into the bus stop. Use up as much energy and as much fuel as I can. As I have to itch my face at the same time. I'll be fine. No mistakes, just get it stopped, turned. There we have it. That's a great result. Mayhem at the end of that. Chaos. But P8 at Spa, great result from where we qualified. We had a pretty good race car. Driver of the day as well. Not surprised about that. It was the tyres just started going off those last 3 or 4 laps, and they started coming and ended up getting right there. Stroll spinning on the last lap. What a race that was. That was so much fun. I love this circuit, and Hamilton wins. He's superb around a place like Spa. Real driver's circuit. Looks like Bottas was P2, and one of the Ferraris in P3, but what a race. It was so boring for so long, and right at the end, it's just mayhem, and everyone's trying to come past us, and I'm really pleased we managed to hold on. They probably had a bit more pace than I did, really, but they were battling each other pretty heavily, so P8 in the end, good result. Can't complain with that. So there we have it. Lewis Hamilton, the winner, from Bottas, Leclerc, Perez with great result in P5, and us in P8. 4 more points is a fantastic result. Max Verstappen down there in P11. And then I think, yeah, Mick P15 is a great result for him. I think that, you know, starting 20th, he's done a good job. So his pace wasn't that, he's half a second off in the race from, well, he's quicker than me in the race. So maybe that was due to a bit of DRS as well. Always helps quite a lot around this circuit. But great result. Felt like I was really consistent with my driving. I was always within a few tenths every single lap. And yeah, great result. Let's get into the highlights. Into the start of the race. I felt like I got a great launch. I was able to get ahead of Raikkonen. I think it was Raikkonen. And then was fully send up the inside. He caught a bit of damage, Giovinazzi there. And I was in a battle. The really important thing here was through Eau Rouge, I had to commit super hard to get him past. And it was chaos going through down the straight up to Les Combes at the end of right at the top of the hill here, and I had to send this. It was Otherwise I was going to get boxed in too much through the right, bit of oversteer, then through the left, and then next right again over that curb, and managed to get away with it and had to make a good move and ran a bit wide there behind Giovinazzi, but he had problems with the car as well. Had to make that move. If you see the wing damage there, he's got half a wing, so making that move gave us a massive gap, and into the pit stops we managed to make a good gain on Kvyat, and the slight undercut really worked out for us. I think I could have gone a bit longer on the tyre, but towards the end the tyres were going off pretty heavily, and following Russell, I was able to get a little bit of DRS from him after the pit stop as he'd come in, but I felt really consistent. I know the circuit very well. It's such an amazing track to drive on, and the views are spectacular. And seeing Formula 1 cars go around there, I'd love to go for a Grand Prix one day. But yeah, I felt like we had a good race. See, coming up Eau Rouge by the looks of it there, the steepness of Eau Rouge, you cannot believe. And then coming on to the final lap, Stroll right with us, had to squeeze in, went a little bit wide, having to defend so hard. I didn't want to give up that place, and then you can see here I ran wide and I've had to hold it up the inside of Stroll, and then he's ended up, I thought I may have touched him, but he had a bit of contact with Kvyat behind and spun, and there we have it, over the line. P8 for us in the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got enough resource points to bring in another major chassis upgrade. This is going to boost us right up in the chassis department and help that car to be nice and light and nimble. Weight reduction is going to be great. Weight redistribution is even better as well. Makes the car feel a lot more well balanced. So hopefully these will come in sooner rather than later, and we'll be right in that midfield battle. That is going to be where I end the video for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I think we had a great result. P8, really good car. I felt really comfortable. I was able to be really consistent with my brake markers and all those sorts of things, and we managed to get a great result after the chaos of those final few laps. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel for more F1 2020 My Team content, and be sure to check out the Brabham movie on Stan, out now. Go and check it out and let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.